What's up, y'all? Welcome back to This Ain't Your Ordinary podcast with your host, Shapiro. Welcome back for episode 2. Before we go into it, I have to show y'all so much love. Thank you so much for all the support you guys shown for episode 1. I wasn't sure what to expect, honestly, but I'm happy you guys enjoyed it. That was definitely a delightful surprise. Yeah, like I wasn't sure. I'll leave it at that. But for episode 2, I got some topics for y'all. I definitely think this episode is gonna be real spicy and potentially controversial. So it's gonna be great, let's just jump right into it. All right, so our main segment, let me give a little context before we go into it. So this guy, his name is Ben Shapiro. I feel like I'm saying his name right, but am I 100% sure? I'm pretty sure, right? And I think he's a political commentator and he gives conservative. So, but he had this video that was out and my friend sent it to me. So I'm going to insert here. Y'all can watch it. It's a really short clip. But before I say that, I don't know how long ago this clip came out, and I may have seen it when it originally came out. I can't remember. But I now was reintroduced to it most likely. So we're going to talk about it. All right, let's just watch it. I'm going to watch it with you all.
First of all, if somebody commits a sexual assault, the only person to blame is the person who commits the sexual assault, right? That right off the bat. Right? Victims are not to blame for their own sexual assault. I also think that if you put yourself in a risky situation, then you've put yourself in a risky situation, right? We do this every day, right? Every day we make decisions about what sort of situations to put ourselves in. If I walk through a high crime neighborhood waving $100 bills above my head and then I am robbed, then it is the fault of the person who robs me. It is not my fault, but I also made a bad decision to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so two things can be true at once. And it is not blaming the victim to say that it's a bad decision to walk through a high crime neighborhood at night waving your wallet over your head.
Yeah.
Right? It is also not a good idea to go to parties where drinking and drugs are commonplace with a bunch of guys who are pigs.
Yes.
Right? That's just not a good idea. Now, does that relieve responsibility from the guys? 100% not. If a guy rapes you or sexually assaults you, he should be castrated or killed.
Okay. So, all right. Y'all just seen this video. So my friend sent this to me during the week, and this led us to the conversation that I'm about to have with you guys. And like I said, this episode is going to be very controversial. So please feel free to leave comments, DM the pod, Instagram. However it is you watch the pod, just feel free to comment, okay? So I think off top, just listening to his clip, you're like, okay. But then you take a moment and you pause, but you're like, nah, especially, I can't speak for the male experience, but especially if you are a woman, you listen to that and you're like, but no, that's not really how I don't know, there's something flying around, guys, but that's not really how life works. That's not how the whole sexual crime thing works, right? I think with Ben's logic, it was giving utopia. It was giving, if there were butterflies and rainbows every day and cotton candy for pillows, this logic would work. But we don't live in a utopian society. We live in a society where logic helps, but logic isn't the end all be all, right? I think his thought process, could work if evil also had logic. If evil used common sense, if evil had biases and discrimination, but evil doesn't. Evil doesn't have any logic. Evil doesn't say, I'm gonna pick this person today because they're in a high risk. No, that's not how it works. There are literally, because we're speaking specifically about sexual crimes, right? There are literally predators everywhere, in every forum, on every level. You don't have to be putting yourself in what he would consider a high risk environment for you to be a potential victim for a predator. Huh? Shaggy? Like, I don't know, that didn't really make sense to me. I mean, I don't like to generalize, so I'm not going to say all men, but that specific man obviously can't speak to this, to not me all around my words. That specific man can't speak to the experience of being a woman, like what it's like, to walk down any street, in the nighttime. It could be a safe neighborhood, a bad neighborhood. You still listen. I have a taser and pepper spray, and I don't care where I'm at. I'm having that on me if I'm walking by myself and it's nighttime. You think I care if I'm in a nice community? No. It be the nice community. Shout out to Get Out. Okay. So no, my hand is on my pepper spray and or my taser, whichever one I feel comfortable with using that night. Like it's the idea, I think, that like women only encounter or become victims of sexual crimes when they put themselves in those situations. I think that's the implication. That's what I got from watching the video. Y'all can tell me if it's different, but that's kind of what he's giving. But it's like, no, you can do everything according to his logic, right? Let's go according to Ben's logic. You can do everything right. What do you say to predators who are your professors and who are your teachers? What do you say to predators who are in your family, who are friends of the family? What do you say to predators in the church? What do you say to predators who are your friends, who are your friends? Right? Like, predators don't just go around in high-risk situations with a label on their forehead saying predator. No. And then I'm pretty sure he talked about clothing and how you dress and stuff. Let's go there. Let's do this. Okay. So you're saying, I'm going by your logic, Ben. If I dress a certain way and I stay within a certain environment, that I have a 0% chance of becoming a victim of a sexual crime? And again, y'all feel free to comment because I'm confused. That don't make no sense. There are nuns who are victims of sexual crimes. There are people in other religious communities who dress a very, we would consider a non-attractive way, who are still victims of sexual crimes. There are people who don't go in his high-risk environments who are still victims of sexual crimes. So you're telling me now that as a woman, you can do, according to Ben, everything right and still be a victim? Yes. Correct. That's how it works. You think people be out here looking like, I'm out here looking for something bad? No, that's not how it works. But again, evil doesn't discriminate. Evil doesn't have bias. And when it comes to these predators, like, I want people to understand that predators aren't looking to, let me not generalize, but a lot of predators aren't looking to attack you because you're pretty. They're looking to attack you because you're an opportunity, right? You're a woman. I think I could take you. I'm not taking you because you're pretty, but I'm taking you because I can and because I want to. That's what they call sexual sadists. People who are attracted to pain, humiliation, and suffering. Those are called sexual sadists. So a lot of times you'll see predators who don't care if you're cute in the face, thick in the waist, right? They care that they can take you, they can overpower you, and that they can, experience, again, that pain, that pleasure from causing you pain. So I think what Ben needs to know is that you're a potential prey by simply being a woman. You can wear the most proper things, according to Ben, be in the most, safest environments and still be a potential prey to the right predator. Okay? So, I don't know. I found the whole video offensive. It was kind of offensive. It was, I think, diminishing. If it was that simple, Ben, you know what I mean? Like, if it was that simple, well, gee, mister, you cracked the code there. Like, what? I don't know. I can't. And then, another thing too. What do you say to children who are the victims of sexual abuse? Don't be a child. They're only attractive because they're children. Like, I hope y'all are with me. Like, to a pedophile, a child is attracted not because of what they're wearing or the environment they're in. They're attracted because they're children. Pedophiles are attracted to children. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you can wear whatever on a child. And you know what? Let's talk about that too. Let's talk about that since we're here. Growing up, I'm from a Caribbean background. And I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate, especially, well, really only the women. Maybe the guys have seen it, but the women have experienced it. You have to wear certain things in front of certain people. Right? Right? Like, y'all with me? And I think I'm not 100%, but I'm speculating that that's because the older women were either preview, they had seen things happen to other girls before you, or they themselves had been victims of sexual abuse or just flat out rape, you know, and they think that this is the protective measures for little girls or younger girls, right? It's not. And I also do think that in this conversation, I'm not trying to be too dark, guys. I'm sorry if it getting dark, but I'm just trying to make a point. And I think in this conversation, when we talk about sexual crimes, especially towards children, I think sometimes we tend to overlook little boys, but like, little boys are just as much as of a potential victim, especially when they're younger, as girls. Like, it happens. Like, sport teams or still friends with family, like, that's a real thing. So, you know, I don't want to overlook them. But when it also comes to protective measures, I think people in your family, like older women, they're more focused on girls, and they're more focused on how girls are dressed. But that doesn't stop a predator from being attracted to a child. Like, I don't want to be that person to, like, you know, but like, that's the reality of it. It doesn't make a difference, you know? So anyway, in summary for this whole segment, I don't know. I just wanted to respond to it because I had a whole conversation I'm having it with you guys because I thought it was crazy. I thought it was offensive. I thought it was very diminishing, and I'm 100% sure he did not run that topic by a single woman. And they're clapping in the video. Like, what's clapping for? Like, I know it's some women clapping. Like, do you feel the pressure to clap? Like, other people clap, you gotta clap? No, like, it's not okay what he's saying. It's very, like, diminishing. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Make sure y'all leave your comments below. All right, next segment. So this is the hear me out segment. You know, when I go on my rant, I feel like it's all a rant, right? But all right. So again, another, you know, damn, again, I'm going to leave this in because I like how I'm feeling. So this topic that I'm about to get into, it came from my whole feelings towards the Ben Shapiro video. So the topic for this hear me out segment is modesty, right? But specifically modesty in the church. So let me give y'all my thought process. I'm going to try to make it compact and not go on the whole spiel, right? So I'm talking about Ben Shapiro. We're talking about the pressures just to be a woman, the experience of being a woman, the idea that you're a lot of times you're just not safe. You know, you're just not safe. You always have to be on your guard. You always have to be aware. The world just ain't safe for you. Right. But then we talked about the clothing aspect of it and the expectation of you dressing a certain way, and that being a preventive measure from potential assaults. Right. We just finished talking about that. So then that led me to modesty and modesty in church, because I do believe that the church influences culture, but culture also has an influence on the church. And I think in one particular way is modesty. Now, again, Caribbean background. Again, comment below, guys. Let me know how it was in your upbringing, how it is today, right? But how you dress in church is obviously dictated by your culture. Because they're in other cultures, they may dress a certain way and feel comfortable. Everyone's comfortable with that. But if they came over here to our little Western civilization, right, like we might be offended by how they dress. Or, for example, another cultural thing, you can't wear pants. You can't wear pants as a woman, right? Like that was a cultural thing. And I think that's streamlined into the church. I just think it did, because there was a period of time where women weren't. It was like frowned upon, and then it goes into the church, and now it's a sin. It's a sin if you wear pants. What scripture? Like, there's no scripture, bro. Like, there's no scripture that says if thou wearest the pants, thou is sinning. And I'm not trying to make fun of it, but I'm just being honest. Like, there's no scripture that says that, man. So why are you enforcing this? And I think, again, in the overall topic of modesty in the church and how that impacts the woman specifically, it's things like the pants. It's things like alienating you. Hold on, let's get this right. Alienating you. There we go. Alienating you because you're wearing something that I, as a person, am deeming sinful, but not the Bible, right? Like, I'm judging you, one, and I'm judging you not off of the Bible, but off of my standards that are based on culture. So now in churches, there is this great pressure on the woman to dress a certain way. Let me, for those who don't go to church and follow me, church is a wonderful experience. Church is meant to be supportive, encouraging, uplifting, edifying. And if you find the right church, you will have a wonderful support system. So don't let me turn you away, but I have to be real, right? In the church, right, you have this pressure on women to dress a certain way, not for themselves, but to protect their fellow brother from falling. I could go to sleep right now. Like, this is why this is Hear Me Out segment, because this is a pet peeve that I have greatly. Okay, you're telling me to dress a certain way, not for me, but to make sure that I don't lead that brother there or that brother there astray. Okay. Here's my problem with that. Problem with everything, but here's my problem with this, right? Okay. I cannot control what goes on in their heart and in their mind. Is there something there? Yeah. That's on them. Right? Like, I cannot stop you from sinning your soul. These are steps you're taking in your mind to fall down. We've all sinned and fall short. We all know how it goes. So let me bring this from my perspective. Okay, how it works, right, is like, okay, you know what? Let me just do a better example. I was going to give you a different example. Let me give you this example. So let's say there's a young man in my church who's attractive, right? Right? By the church's logic, if this young man, I don't even know, because they don't even really give a standard for the man, because all of them pretty much dress the same. But I don't know. Let's say he came in with a shirt that, I don't know, defined everything, and he had some definition going on, and he had some tight pants that was highlighting a lot of stuff, right? Okay, so I, as Sharissa, I have a choice. I can stare at you. That's not even, I mean, okay, but fine. Let's just go with the example. I can stare at you. If I'm attracted to you, okay, I'm attracted to you. Then I start to desire you. And then this desire turned to lust. And now I'm sitting in my head thinking about you because I'm staring at you. Right? But in real life, in real life examples, that's not really how it works. Like, you can be attracted to someone and they wear the most mundane outfits and you can still do stuff with them in your mind. Oh my God. Like, you can do anything you want in here. Anything. There are only boundaries if you put them there. You can do anything. You can get a piece of paper that's white and say it's blue in your mind. It could be blue. You can literally see a blue paper. Like, that's called the imagination, man. You can have fantasies about anything. So you think by me dressing a certain way that I can stop this man's imagination? At that point, it's a choice. If you're attracted to someone, you're attracted to someone regardless of what they're wearing. And then if you want to go and step out and do things in your mind, it goes beyond what that person is wearing. It goes to what's going on in your heart. What is going on in your heart? Where is the self-control? Where is the self-control? Really, that's what we should be taught as youths in the church. Like, exhibit self-control. You could be attracted to someone. That's okay. You know, God created all these things within us. So you can be attracted. That's fine. But like, temper yourself. Have some type of self-control, and don't let your attractions for someone get out of control to the point where it's sinful, right? And then in terms of clothing, let's not put all the pressure on a female. Like, if you got a big body, if you're thick, what can you wear that will stop your, treasure chest, your junk in your trunk? What wear to stop that? It gonna pop out regardless. So what do you tell a person? Like, I'm not that person, I'm almost there, but like, what do you tell a person who is experiencing that? Like, that's their day to day. Like, man, like, wear baggy clothes, but even baggy clothes is going to still define some things. It's more of an internal thing, I believe, than something external. And then you have the worst conversations with people the older people in the church, like, can't wear this. Oh, God forbid you show your kneecap. Why would you do that? You are a temptation to your brother. How? My kneecap? My kneecap? I'm telling y'all, this is the thing that irks me. My knee, my shoulder. Oh, I showed too much. I'm sorry, we're going off the rail here, folks. But like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, your shoulder, your kneecap, my elbow too. Like, come on, bro. Is it actually? No. But like, you see what I'm saying? That's a bit crazy. And that type of pressure that is majority one side is a bit much. Like, y'all just. I personally think. Let me tell you what I think. I think if we focus more on people and the seeds that they sow as opposed to the fruits that they reap, I think we would be better off. I think sometimes in the church we try to manipulate the fruit of people instead of evaluating what seeds were sown to produce that fruit. So you're focused on what I'm wearing and this and that, but focus on my journey. Focus on what led me to here. Don't focus on what's happening here. Does that make sense? Like, sow some seeds of like knowledge and wisdom for young people, saying, as a young person, get close to God, figure out your relationship with God. And from your relationship, you will get convictions in terms of mindset. You will get convictions. Not everyone's convictions are the same. In different cultures, your convictions will shift. There's no template. I promise y'all. I looked in the Bible for man stuff. There's no scripture that gives you a proper template for what to wear. What they wore in the Bible is completely different from what we wear today. So we're already outside of what they was really doing in the Bible. So in terms of your modesty, I'm not saying come out here with your titties out and everything. I'm really not saying that. Like, I'm not even that person. But I am saying, like, we should, as a church, I think, focus more on what's happening internally in terms of our own convictions towards modesty, and also what's happening internally in terms of self-control. As a young person myself, it's rough out here in these streets, in these sexual streets. It is rough. Like, we're not going to go too far because, we have other stuff to talk about today, but it's hard. And what I do think young people in my age bracket need is, I think, more support in terms of not looking at someone and sinning, but not allowing yourself to get to that point, right? Like, not allowing yourself to sit in a place so long and listen to lies and deceits, so much so that the thing that you were told is no good for you, you then taste and see, and then you believe all the lies and you eat that. I'm talking about Eve right now. You eat that fruit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you eat that fruit that you knew was no good, but like, you heard the lies. You stayed in that place long enough for, like, it could just oh yeah, like you think about, and then you go send your soul. So I think it's the same thing for young people. Like, tell us things like this. Like, bro, don't sit long enough and let this thing fester, because it will become tempting. It doesn't always start out as tempting. Not everything is tempting. But if you sit long enough for something that you find attractive, for something that you end up desiring, it's going to become a temptation if you sit there thinking about it long enough. I think that's what you should tell us. Don't tell us like, don't show your kneecap. Like, come on, man. Don't show my kneecap. My kneecap, man. Come on, bro. Like, you're dragging it. I mean, so anyways, it's all about self-control, I think, in the end. I think that's the conversation. I think modesty is a separate conversation, but I think when it comes to not falling because of, lust and things like sexual stuff, like, that's self-control, really. That don't really have to do with our, you can go Google something and look for whatever you want. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not realistic, I think, the expectations that people think modesty has. Like, is expectation like I think the impact, like the impact people think modesty has on like sexual sins and stuff, I don't think it's that great of an impact. I really think our focus is in the wrong direction. We should be focusing on self-control and controlling your mind and, controlling that, as opposed to what you're wearing. My kneecap ain't gonna cause you to fall. You gonna cause you to fall. Like, you know what I'm saying? So unless obviously in the circumstance you're coming intending to like try to get people to fall, I guess that's like not really, that's like exceptions to the rules. Like, no. But for the most part, no. Focus on your self-control. Anyway, that's the end of that. I don't want to go too far with that. But I also would say one more thing. I hope I'm not doing too much, y'all. My last thing with this, I also think as the church, we have to be careful when we create standards that aren't based on scripture, because what you eventually do is you begin to describe a God that's no longer the God of the Bible. And now you're describing an idol. You're describing a golden calf that you're worshiping because it's down to your standards, right? It's a God of your imagination. And now you're telling people about the idol, right? But not the God of the Bible. And I think you want to be careful with that, because that would lead people to think that they're not good enough, for this God. Ain't nobody ever good enough for these idols, but there is a God who loves you, for you, as you. And it's not about changing on day one. It's about going on a journey with God who loves you as you are, and then allowing your love and your relationship with him to eventually evolve you into the best version of you. Whatever that looks like, I don't know. Anyway, on to the next topic. All right. So many things we're talking about today, guys. Make sure y'all leave y'all comments below. Okay. Comment section, I expect to be very interesting under this episode, right? All right. So this is the trending topics segment. Most times I'm not really interested into the trending topics because I don't really understand certain things that be going on. Sometimes it be with pop culture, and I'm like, what are y'all talking about? But anyway, so this segment, I've been waiting to get behind this mic. Okay, so I'm gonna talk to y'all about the Untold documentary. Y'all better, y'all gotta watch this documentary, man. All right. It's on Netflix. It's called Untold: The Girlfriend That Didn't Exist, something like that. It's so juicy. Spoiler alert. If you didn't watch it, I'm about to spoil it. But listen, let me tell you what. It was spoiled for me, but I still went and watched that. And the spoilers were great, but watching it for myself was necessary. Okay? So y'all, I'm telling you, you gotta watch it for yourself. All right. So boom. It's so much. I'm gonna try to make this quick. I'm gonna time myself, I promise. I'm not gonna try to take up too much of y'all time. You understand? All right. So real quick. So the documentary is about a former football player. His name is Manti. All right, y'all got to stick with me. Manti. Okay. So Manti, great kid, grew up in a religious home, very well-rounded, very nice, very kind, very sweet. You know what I'm saying? And Manti was a great high school football player, right? And then he went to college in Notre Dame, which is in Indiana. Didn't know that till now. So he went there full scholarship, whatever. He was like a top recruit. Everyone wanted him. He's great. Right? All right, boom. Manti's out here. He didn't really want to be here, but I promise you, I'm so sorry, bro. Like, if you watch this, I love your highlights, but like, I'm sorry for the documentary's sake. Your football journey didn't really matter that much. I'm sorry. In terms of the story, it doesn't. Okay. Anyway, so he's great. He's a great football player. Manti. Yeah, y'all have to stick with me. So in year one, Manti meets this girl online. We're gonna call her Naya. I feel like I'm forgetting names, but we're gonna call her Naya. So you have Manti, the football player, and Naya, the girl he meets online, right? Are y'all still with me? Okay. So Manti and Naya talk, but like not like that. It's more of a like like, how are you? And that's it. Like, it's like a very every now and again check-in. But Manti, obviously you want to make sure and confirm that someone you're talking to is not, right? But he didn't know what he was doing at the time, right? But he just wanted to make sure this person was legit or whatever. So he texted someone he knew. I think he texted another cousin, and they were all like, yeah, like, I know her, like, I texted her. One of the guys he texted, I think, had been with her, so they were like, yeah, like, she's mad cool. Samantha was like, all right, cool. So I'm not worried. My cards are down. People around me say you're cool. So they talking on and off, like just friends, right? Then Manti's in his third year of college, almost at the peak of his football career, right? Okay. So then, is there something in my nose? No, it's just a glare. Anyway, so then, right, Manti and this girl start talking. Manti and Naya start talking, y'all. And it's getting hot and heavy. Okay. And they're talking like every day, all day, every day. It's that type of boo love, that young love type thing. You know what I'm saying? So they together at this point. So then Naya gets into a car accident. I'm sorry, this is not funny, but it's funny because I did not mention that Naya is a catfish. So, yo, this thing is so juicy. I gotta watch it. So, Naya, it gets complicated because Naya, at the time of the catfishing, was a guy, but in the documentary, Naya is transitioning to becoming a woman. I don't know. I'm not fully sure, honestly. So at the time, Naya is a guy, right? At the time of the catfish, Naya is a guy. But Manti don't know that Naya is a guy. What? So Naya got into a car accident. Because at this point in time, Naya's like, oh, I think I want to break it off because they have Naya in the documentary, y'all. So, I think I want to break it off because, I felt like it was getting too heavy and, Couldn't stand Naya. Still can't stand Naya. Okay. So then boom, Naya gets in a car accident. So Manti gets a call from Naya's brother. The whole thing is so funny. And then the brother is telling Manti that Naya got in a car accident and like all this stuff. And it's like, do you want to speak to Naya? And Manti's like, yeah. Manti's like, all I heard was like somebody is on an oxygen mask. And he's like, oh my God, he's talking to Naya while she's on the oxygen mask or whatever. And he's like, they told him every time that he would talk to her, she would get better. And eventually she was able to say, poor guy. Anyway, so then Naya is recovering. Next thing you know, Manti get a call from the brother or whoever in the family now. Naya get leukemia. Now they find out Naya get leukemia. Leukemia. Oh, thing got me fed up, thick and tired, man. You got leukemia? What? Now this man is like, oh my God, whatever. He carry on what he season. He push and shoot. He fighting. He get everything on his back now. Then tragedy strike. Manti grandmother in real life passed away. Real life. Mind you, Naya's still trying to make she exit route. She ain't exit up to now with her leukemia having self. So Manti grandmother died in real life. This heifer, Naya, her brother calls Manti and is like, she lost a fight with leukemia. Within the same time period, his grandmother died in real life. She's like, let me see when the best time would be to go and die. So, Manti, I think it was within 24 hours. I don't think anyone's really sure. It was a whole bunch of stuff going on, y'all. But no one's really sure, right? So, now this man is thinking that both his grandmother and his girlfriend, who got in a car accident and had leukemia, died within the same period of time. So anyways, this messed him up and he was depressed. But this was the narrative for his last season, his senior season in terms of football. So this narrative helped him. He was about to win like the MVP of college football, all that, the Heisman Award, all of that, right? All that was going for him. Then, guess who called? Guess who came back from the dead? Like, it's giving Jesus just a bit. Like, what? Naya called. But Manti think it's somebody else. And I said, it's me. Anyway, long story short, Manti is like, nah, bro, like you're dead. Send me a picture of you with us. I think I don't know what the symbol was. I ain't about to do a gang sign. I don't know what the symbol was. And then something written on the paper. He specifically told her. I think it was a date. I don't know. This is where this thing get crazy. Naya, the catfish who dead and come back, right? Naya reach out to the girl who picture she using, right? She's using this girl's picture. She reached out to her. And it's like, I have somebody dying, like, whatever. Like, this would be inspiring. Like, if you did this for me. The girl stupid. So she take a picture with the symbol and wrote something on the paper and sent it to Naya. Naya sent it to Manti. And now Manti is like, wait. What? So Manti don't know what about what. So then he ends up telling his family. His family speaks to a lawyer. And the lawyer's like, yeah, you got catfished, my guy. Then they're like, what is catfish? I guess at this time, in this period, no one knew about catfishing. People are saying that this sparked the show Catfish. I'm not 100% sure, but people didn't know about catfish. This was like 2009, 2010, 2011, 20, around that period of time, right? So now they're like, oh, what we got? What? Bro. Okay. Anyway, y'all gotta watch this documentary. I basically gave y'all a summary. Naya was in the documentary too. She is like, let me just say, catfishing is crazy. The fact that you can really do this and not, is there something on my nose? I'm not sure. It looks like it. Anyway, I think it's a glare. But anyways, the fact that you could get away with this and not there being no consequence, like, no, it's just really societal shame. But like, there's no like actual, like, I don't know what to even give a person who catfish, but I feel like it's just not right. And let me also say this. Y'all gonna laugh at me. I don't care. I'm almost 100% sure I've catfished someone. I'm going mad hard, right? But I'm pretty sure, like, in my younger years, I may have catfished. I honestly can't, but my spirit is telling me I catfished someone at least once. But I don't really remember. But I feel like there's levels to this, right? Like, there's obviously, like, whoa, and, like, people like me, like, we're just doing stuff just to, But, like, I think it was crazy how she got away with that, and she literally ruined the trajectory of this man's career, right? And we're gonna talk about that in a sec, but that part was crazy. And she's in the Mother Loving documentary talking about, oh my God, like, I can't believe, like, why would you go tell people certain girl, he's trying to defend the remainder of his honor. He don't care about you the way you ain't care about him. You died and came back. What you talking about, man? change. Oh, I promise you, I'm not a violent person. I promise y'all, I want to just. Anyway, y'all have to watch the documentary. It was crazy, and her lack of remorse throughout the entirety of the documentary is. She ain't shed a tear. She was just focused on how this impacted her life. Huh? Shaggy? Anyway, but that was crazy. But going back to his career, I'm not gonna lie. I am an NFL fan. Am I a casual? I don't think so, because I love watching football games. Like I think I prefer watching football games over basketball games. I'm so sorry to those listening. I feel like I'm disappointing my community. I'm so sorry, y'all. But I can't lie. I enjoy the sport, but I do think sports culture overall is very, very toxic. But the NFL specifically, oh my goodness, you want to talk about toxic? I don't think it's just toxic masculinity. I just think it's toxic overall, because this man's career was derailed because of this scandal, this controversy of him getting catfished. Meanwhile, there are women beaters who have beat their girlfriends or wives or whatever relation the women were to them on camera and have active jobs. Huh? You can't make that up, bro. They have Deshaun Watson, who obviously a football player, and he's accused of sexually harassing over 20 women. A few months ago, he just signed the most lucrative NFL contract in NFL history, while being accused of sexually harassing over 20 women. And I'm pretty sure he settled a civil suit. So it's like, the fact, there was a clip in the documentary where it was Stephen A. I know everyone knows Stephen A., right? Stephen A. was like, oh, I think, the Manti's stock in the draft dropped because no one wants to deal with the drama. The drama of him being catfished, but y'all can deal with the drama of like all these predators, because that's what they are, predators, all these women beaters, all these dudes. Y'all can deal with that, but y'all can't deal with this poor man, who got catfished. And let's say he had no part. He did not know this was happening to him. But even if he did, and let's say he did it for publicity, does that really compare to beating a woman, a fellow human being? Like, huh? But I guess it's the NFL. I guess they glorify that, part of men that went out of control lead to them beating women. I guess that's what they're looking for. I honestly don't know. But that was crazy to me. Like, it really messed up this guy's career, and it's because of the culture, nothing else. It's simply because of the culture that the NFL continuously perpetuates. Anyway, that's all I have to say on that. But y'all gotta watch the documentary. Oh my gosh, it's really juicy, y'all. Like, for real. Anyway, this is the end of episode 2. This episode was crazy. Yeah, this episode was crazy. I'm looking forward to all the comments. Like, whoa, let's talk about spicy. But thank y'all so much for sticking with your girl. I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.